What is up everyone, Fred here from Seals Gaming, and today we're gonna take a look at the game called Surviving Mars.
Welcome to Mars.
Surviving Mars was developed by Hamimont Games and published by Paradox Interactive, and it is a game that might have gone unnoticed by a lot of people. It's currently available on Steam, and I'll leave a link for you in the description below in case you want to check it out after this video. Surviving Mars is a single-player city builder and management game which takes place in the near future and deals within the areas of colonization and space exploration. And it's very reminiscent of games like Tropico and SimCity. The game's overall objective is for you to build and manage a fully self-sustaining and comfortable colony on Mars for humanity. And doing this is actually not quite as easy as it sounds. During the game you'll have to deal with the various natural phenomena that the red planet can throw at you, while you're desperately trying to farm poop potatoes like Matt Damon in The Martian.
We have a food shortage. We have an oxygen shortage. We have a water shortage. We have a power shortage.
When you start a game in Surviving Mars, the first thing you have to do is pick which resources you choose to send with your first rocket. And this can be anything from extra drones and resources to an entire factory, or even a moisture vaporizer that extracts water from the atmosphere. However, the challenge here is that you only have a limited amount of cargo space and a limited amount of funding, which would be issues people trying to colonize Mars in the real world would have to deal with as well. After you've chosen your loadout, you'll arrive at the foreign world, and then the goal is to scan the sectors you've chosen to colonize and afterwards select a landing spot. Then you land and you make your drones collect resources which will enable you to construct solar panels, wind turbines, life support, domes for your colonists, and much more. On top of buildings, you also need to prioritize which areas of research to first pursue to advance your colony even further. And during your playthrough you'll also experience the various natural disasters that the red planet has to throw against you, such as meteors, dust storms, and cold waves.
Meteor incoming.
The concept of Surviving Mars really speaks to me because it is a concept that is not too far from a foreseeable future, and one can imagine seeing these things happening within our lifetime. I also enjoy that you have to manage an entire city and oversee the infrastructure of it. It awards a big sense of accomplishment when you finally hit that milestone or finish that specific building you wanted to build.
Milestone achieved.
Surviving Mars offers a range of different options for how you want to customize your mission, and you can choose which sponsor you would like to have for your current mission. All of these sponsors grant you different benefits that will help you towards your final goal of colonizing Mars. Additionally, you're also prompted to pick your landing spot on Mars, and these spots have different ranges of resources and threat levels, which you have to take into account. The higher the threat level and the lower the resource level you pick, the higher your score multiplier will be by the end of the game. And finally, in every mission there will also be a mystery you'll have to solve. For example, rushing to find a cure for an unidentified virus that is ravaging your colony and Earth.
We have received a disturbing medical report. A number of colonists have contracted an unknown disease.
I quite enjoy the mysteries and I like the variation they add to each playthrough, but I honestly don't have any strong feelings about the various difficulty settings. I think it's fine that they're in the game, but I also think they're quite redundant, and I guess it might be fun for some people to challenge themselves or even choose a spot and compete against their friends to see who made it, but I feel like it doesn't really make a difference for any core aspects of the game.
A colonist just snapped.
Surviving Mars is one of those games where, in my opinion, replayability struggles a bit. The first time you play the game, it's exciting and you're hectically trying to solve every problem coming at you as fast as you possibly can. But after your first playthrough, you start to know exactly what to do and when to do it. And although the terrain and mystery can vary a lot, it doesn't change the basic things you have to do, and there are no real variations in the steps you have to take to become a fully fledged colony.
We have a food shortage. We have a food shortage. We have a food shortage. We have a food shortage.
Graphically, I don't really feel like Surviving Mars has anything special to offer. However, I will add that it can look pretty awesome when you've built a big city and zoom out to look at it from above. And the AI on your colonist is just, I don't know, it's terrible. It is manageable when you just have 50 people in your city, but when you start getting up into the hundreds, you can easily spend 20 minutes of your time just setting one individual colonist at the time to a workplace. And that's just so boring, and honestly it's just drone work, which is something I do not like having to do when playing a game for entertainment. Granted, you can apply filters for each of your domes that decide which professions and trades you prefer the people living in that specific dome have, but they're just not specific enough, and they don't really work, to be honest. Moreover, soundtrack wise, I don't really feel like Surviving Mars offers anything special either. In fact, I think the soundtrack starts to get annoying when you've played for several hours. I mean, you do have the option to change the in-game radio channel, but the other options are, in my opinion, even more annoying than the original soundtrack, which is a shame because soundtrack is really important for creating atmosphere. All in all, Surviving Mars is one of those games you play when you need to just relax by yourself, and it can distract you for a long time. I like the challenging and scientific aspect of the game, and you can make some cool looking cities, but it just takes such a long time to make any real progress in this game, and I don't quite feel it is worth the effort. And on top of that, there simply isn't enough variation in the game compared to the amount of time you have to invest into getting a functioning colony going. More often than not, you spend a couple of minutes just staring at your machines while you're waiting for resources to extract. Or you're managing each individual in your colony so you don't have hordes of unemployed people or criminals rampaging through your cities. I think this is a shame because I enjoy the idea of a game simulating the challenges of colonizing Mars. But we also have to remember that this is a game which you have to use your money on, and therefore I expect it to be entertaining. And as I said before, I do not find it entertaining staring at a resource collector for 5 minutes before I'm able to continue making progress. With all these factors taken into perspective, that is why we here at Seals Gaming give Surviving Mars a 6 out of 10. And if you've tried Surviving Mars, please feel free to leave a comment below with your opinions about the game. And if you like this video, don't hesitate to throw us a like. Or even better, if you like our content, hit that big red subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching.